Assassin's Promise by Thomas Woodward. Chapter 10. Millie looked up from the book she had been reading. It hadn't really been holding her interest, in truth be told. Things had been quiet, boring. The long, hot summer days would soon become shorter as the seasons began to turn. The days would still be blistering hot, but the sharp, cool nights would turn bone-chillingly cold. It was an odd paradox, baking in the sun during the day, then freezing at night. It was all she had ever known, though. Her mother, Marie, had hinted at beautiful frozen landscapes that glittered with ice, the sun reflecting in each of the tiny ice crystals. The trees were said to be quite a wonder to behold, fully covered in snow. Snow. What a truly odd concept. What she would give to see it someday. She had begged her mother when she was younger to take her on a visit to her homeland. Mother had never taken her. Perhaps Marie thought she would forget eventually as she grew older. However, the secret of what her mother's life had been prior to meeting her father had always pulled upon Millie's curiosity. It was like the beginning of an adventure, as Eddie would have said. At least he would have, if he still had been here. If he hadn't just deserted them all. It wasn't fair. Why did he get to go off gallivanting on the adventure of a lifetime when she was stuck in a stuffy desert town in the middle of nowhere? Never mind that he had no idea what he was getting into. It galled at her. She could feel her anger rising just thinking about the selfishness of it all. It was she that was supposed to leave him behind, not the other way around. Millie pushed herself up from the stuffed chair in the common room. It had been her favorite place to read the past few days. She liked the occasional background noise the common room provided. A pair of young wives were pleasantly talking at one of the tables, eating coffee cake her mother Marie had made fresh this morning. The fiddler from the other night had ordered a meal and was waiting at the bar, no doubt preparing some songs to play for the evening regulars. If his performance was good, he could earn a few bronze comments in addition to the free room and board he shared with his partner, Lyra. Millie loved hearing her songs. She would sing of great heroes of old, many of whom Millie had never heard of. Singers would learn their songs from their families and song mentors, who had passed them down from their mentors on and on through the years. Often songs would have changed entirely from their original roots from one generation to the next. A good performer could earn their own weight in bronze, if they were especially talented or caught the eye of a noble. Millie stretched back in the chair, arching her back as the yellow cat purred gently on her stomach. Millie had come to a particularly good part of the book. A noblewoman had been tricked into kissing a young commoner when she heard her father Thane calling for her. Mentally bookmarking the passage, Millie rose from her chair and affected a casual air. Millie's father Thane had softened the blow her mother had dealt her when Eddie was discovered to be missing. He had not blamed her too much, instead blaming the young man himself. He had feared for some time that Eddie would run away, even as painful as it was to them. To say it was a surprise would be a lie. At present, her father motioned for Millie to come into the kitchens. He didn't seem angry with her, but Millie could never be sure. Briskly straightening her dress, she followed into the hot kitchen. Her mother peeked her head out from around the wall from within the kitchen to ensure Millie was indeed coming at her father's directive. Millie groaned inwardly. When both her parents spoke together to her, it was often some sort of lecture on how she should be more ladylike or something else to that effect. Thane whispered her as she approached. "Child, your mother and I have been up half the night worrying since young Edward has disappeared. We know you told us everything you know already. Be kind to your mother. She didn't mean half the things she said in anger to you the other day." With a brief smile, her father ushered her into the kitchen. Millie's mother, however, held no such amiable air. Her face was thunder as she spoke quickly and crisply. "Millie, your father and I have decided," then she shot a meaningful look at her husband Thane, "we think that you should be sent off early to begin your training as a lady." She gave a pleading look to her husband, who stood unblinking, immobile. With a resigned sigh, she continued, "Milham, your father and I love you very much. Please don't forget that. And please don't forget us." Millie could see the beginning of tears forming in her mother's eye. Then abruptly her mother hugged her close in a crushing embrace. With a shake, her mother released her as quickly as she had embraced her, and turned with her back to Millie and her father. She moved off, giving orders to maids and cooks, suddenly intent on the afternoon meal. Her father softened his features after Marie left, turning to Millie. My daughter, this was not an easy decision for either your mother and I. Indeed, we would have loved having you here with us for the next 3 years before sending you off for your training as a lady. But I think you are ready for what will come. It is not unheard of for a young woman to learn the arts before the age of 16, if somewhat rare. Your mother and I have faith that you will be equal to the task. We just don't want young Edward's disappearance to cloud your judgment. Your mother and I only want what's best for you, daughter. With that, Thane gave her a quick hug, then stepped off toward the common room, eager to check for anything he could clean before more guests arrived. His apron was a pristine white, and she could see him gripping it tightly as he strode away from her. Millie felt somewhat dumbfounded. She had expected something, surely, some reaction to Eddie's disappearance, but not this, not something so drastic. She gently tugged on her reddish curls as she climbed the banister to the second floor. They wanted her to leave. They didn't trust her to not follow after Eddie. Her parents loved her, but they would just as soon banish her to prevent her from running away. Didn't they know she wouldn't really have followed after Eddie? She wouldn't have, most likely. In truth, she had learned nothing of becoming a lady in all the time she had lived here at the inn. Her mother had promised to reveal secrets of her former life one day, but now that the day was here, she still knew nothing. She wasn't ready, but part of her didn't care. So be it. If she was unprepared, she would become a lady. She wouldn't miss them. Silently, she pushed open the door to her room and huddled in a ball on her bed. The sand blew powerfully against the shuttered windows. Millie closed her eyes and put her hands over her ears, muffling all noise. Hi, everyone. If you've been enjoying my content and you'd like to support my channel, you can do so at patreon.com/authorsprocess. And it would mean a great deal to me to be able to keep bringing you great content and sharing it with you on multiple platforms. Here is the page that you will see if you choose to support me. And on this page, you will be able to choose what membership level you could support at. Again, only if you choose to. But we have the initial level dedicated to the arts, and then lover of the arts, patron of the arts, and grand patron of the arts. So what you will receive is early access to my content, and then at the higher levels, your name will be listed at the end of each of my videos in a special thanks section. So again, please consider it. It would mean a great deal to me. And thank you so much again. Even if you're unable to support monetarily, just viewing my content is great support as well. So thank you so much for being here, and I appreciate you.